Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Shagalinku TV. As usual, my name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, and it's good to have you all here. And for those who will join us later, due to their time zone and all of that. So today we're looking at the entertainment industry. It's close to the ending of the year, so we're taking things nice and slow and going through the entertainment industry. We're looking at the topic: how can we harness and build the talents of Nollywood's younger generation. Of course, we know that Nollywood has really done so well for itself, even when the naysayers will feel that Nollywood has not gotten to that place. But we know where they started, how they started, and where they are now, and how the world is also beginning to take notice of not just Nollywood, but our music industry, our fashion, and all of that. So today I'll be having our amiable actor. A lot of people saw the flyer before now and they kept calling to say, ask him this question and ask him that question. So we'll be live now. You can drop your questions or comments on our comment section via YouTube or Facebook, and he'll be here to answer you. I have Dozie Onyiriuka. Him that I had to learn this name 2 days before for the program. Hi.
Oh, I had to practice the last name. Yeah, so you get. I mean, you tried. I mean, not bad, not bad. You do like
Good to have you.
seven,
So how are you
seven.
doing?
I'm good. I've been alright. I've been great. Work here and there, but I'm just
Okay.
starting to wind down.
So let's start from the
Hello, anybody? Anybody there?
Okay, apologies. I was telling Dozier backstage that network today has been crazy since I came back to
Yeah,
Kano from Abuja. But Dozier, can you hear me now?
of course I can hear you. I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Okay, okay. So first things first, who is Dozier? How did you come in into the movie industry?
Oh, okay. So obviously, my name is on the screen. My name is Dozie Onyiriuka. For people that don't pronounce the last name, Dozie Onyiriuka. So, Dozie is a young adult, very curious, and I can say one that likes to know more about stuff. Dozie is very. He can be adventurous sometimes. He can be adventurous sometimes, and it's one quality that I like about myself. You know, and venturing into the industry was sort of, I wouldn't say by accident, but it wasn't by my will or by my definite choice. It was something that just happened to me. All this kind of happened really. So how it worked was that I was 7 years old when I started. That was Tinsel, my very first gig, and it's my longest ongoing gig. 7 years old. And how it was that my cousin, she knew someone that worked in a production company, and she talked to my parents and said, "Hey, they need a 7-year-old boy for this commercial." I was told it was a commercial, so she took me for this commercial. I got there, saw a bunch of kids, and I waited. And when I waited for a bit, I saw a man walk up to me and told me to, "Hey, follow me." and I followed him, and then he said, "Okay, this is your mom on the show." I mean, I was 7. This is as much as I can remember, anyway. He said, "This is your mom on the show," and for some weird reason, the lady looked a lot like my mother in real life, but just way lighter than I am, you know. And then my mom is because she was almost white, you know. So that's how it began. I got on set. I saw the other actors, and Gideon Okeke. I saw a lot of others as well. It was. I didn't know exactly what was going on for a while because that wasn't something I was looking forward to. It just happened to me, so I was getting to understand what exactly was going on around me, and that's how it began. From there, moving on to many other years going forward, I started to become aware of what exactly I was doing. I'm on this show. It's big. People are talking about it. I have to, I have to step up. I had to become more aware of what was happening, and I made an intentional effort to do so. And I started to grow, and I saw that this was becoming a part of me, and it was something I started to embrace. And embracing that kind of changed the direction of my life. Well, I wouldn't say change direction because there wasn't any definite start at 7 years old. What would I be thinking? I wasn't thinking much of the future like that, but this beginning at 7 just kind of steered me in that direction, and it just kept on going and going like that. Hello.
Okay. Dozie, are you there? And sorry for the network. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So you won today. Lagos won. Don't worry. It's
Yeah, Lagos
one over
won.
two.
Kano 0, right?
So where were we before I was yanked off? By the way, let me
You
read some messages here.
okay?
Someone here said hi. I think Oro Menaosugo.
Okay.
Tajuddin Akonde says hi. Good evening.
Hi, Tajuddin.
Nwokocha Flora. Yeah, Nwokocha Flora said
Hi,
hello.
Flora.
So pick up from where you stopped. Yeah.
well, I think I said everything, but I'll just go over it again. But I was saying that I already explained how I got into the industry. I said that it wasn't something that happened by my will or by my choice at the beginning. I mentioned that my cousin, she knew someone that worked in a production company, and she got to know that they needed a 7-year-old boy, and she talked to my parents and said, "Hey, this production company needs a 7-year-old kid for this thing, for this commercial." Although it was a commercial, and they allowed me. My cousin took me there. I saw a bunch of kids. I was waiting for a while. I remember waiting for a while. Again, I was 7, so I'm trying as much as possible to piece together everything. Then this guy walks in as I'm waiting. He walks in and points at me and says, "You follow me." I followed him. We got to a certain point in the room. He opened the door and said, "Oh, this is your mom on the show." And I was confused, like, "Mom?" Scary, scary-ish. The woman kind of looked like my mother in real life, which was weird. But she said this lady was much lighter than my mom. She was like almost white and everything. So it was kind of weird. I thought they actually brought her to the show, but nah. So after meeting my mom on the show, I got to meet the other actors as well, Gideon KKA and the rest, and it was. At first, I wasn't much aware of what I was doing because I was a kid. I thought it was a commercial, but it wasn't. It turns out it was Tinsel because that was my first ever gig. Tinsel was my first ever gig, and it's my longest ongoing gig. It's been on since like 2008 thereabout, and I wasn't much aware of how how big it was because I was a kid. So as I started to progress and I started to shoot more, I discovered that yeah, it wasn't a commercial; it was a long TV series. I started to become aware of how big the whole thing was, and I made an intentional effort to make sure that I progress with it. So me making that intentional effort to step up and say, okay, this is something that I have to take seriously. It kind of steered my life in a certain direction, but not like my life was in a different direction before. It was more of I was 7. I wasn't thinking much about the future, so there was no direction by definition. You understand? There was no direction. You understand? I was still 7. What would I be thinking about? But that happening to me at a young age just made my career path or my life path just that. It just took me on that journey, and here we are now. Yeah. Hi,
Okay.
Michael.
So got some more messages here. This is from King Courage. It says,
Uh,
my favorite actor in Tinsel."
uh, Thank you so much, King Courage. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's great that a lot of people appreciate the show and the characters that they brought to life. It's really amazing. Thank you all. Hi, Michael. Hi, Michael.
And there is also Mikel.
Yeah,
Mikel
Michael.
sent in a message. I'm trying to put it on the screen so
Yeah,
that
I can see it. I can see it on the screen.
we
No
can
problems.
have it. Um, if Dozier is back, then this time it's your own network that's booting. I hope you come back as well.
I can hear you though.
So there's a message from Mikel. He says, "Hi, Dozie. I hope you saw this."
Yeah, I can see it. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Sorry
Thank
about the network. Our viewers, please, apologies as well for the network. I don't know what happened today of all days. Anyway, Dozie, if you can still hear me,
I can still
let's
hear you,
look at
yes.
the let's look at the relationship between the older actors and the new generation actors. In your view, do you think it's cordial and could it be better?
Yeah, I think it's starting to be cordial. I think it's starting to be more intentional because from my perspective it wasn't much of a concern. It wasn't taken seriously at first, but as new movies started to roll out, the new series started to roll out, and we started seeing the younger ones being paired with the older ones, and I believe that there's starting to be an intentional effort towards that direction, and I think it's good. It can be better, of course, but right now I think we're on the right track. I think we're on the right track. Yes.
Okay. So it still ties down to the next question I'd like to ask. Do you think the bridge is a bit wide because younger actors don't seem to see the need for mentorship or don't see the need to
Oh,
hone their crafts?
yeah, I think the bridge is there's still quite a distance in between because the I think the issue sort of is from both sides. So, like you mentioned, the younger ones believe that there's no need for mentorship. They sort of go head on and dive in and think that it's going to work out instantly. It's not the case. Then for the older ones as well, I believe that there needs to be a much more obvious outreach to the younger ones. You're stretching out a hand that says, "Hey, let me take you under my wing, or let us mentor you." It doesn't have to be formal. It could be something between them and the younger ones. You understand? So I think both sides have to work together on their own end to make sure that the bridge finally is constructed, balanced, and it's the whole thing is fair. Nobody wants a shaky bridge. Nobody likes that.
Mm. Okay. So let me also bring this here because sometimes even the older generation feel that yes, we might agree they know it all by based on
Yeah,
experience, but you know
experience, of
something
course.
that cannot be taken away from the younger actors are the technology
Mhm.
opportunities and the ability
Yikes.
okay. So the network is back again. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard me, but
No,
I
I
was
didn't. I
saying
didn't
that
hear you.
okay. So what the older generation or the older actors cannot that we can't dispute is the experience they've garnered and
Definitely,
their
definitely.
years of working, right? But also the younger actors can pride of their experience in technology, their tech savvy, the ability to read up when the older generation didn't have that platform where they could Google, read up things, learn online, take online classes, and all of that. So, what are some of the strengths of the younger generation actors? So we don't also think that they are not coming with their own
Oh,
expertise. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So you mentioned something about them being the younger ones being tech savvy and have more access to knowledge and information because of the internet and how accessible the whole thing is. Even when I was in secondary school, my teacher used to yab us that if he had what we have now, he would have been passing all the subjects very very fast. And we're so lucky we're not using what we're meant to, But yeah, them having access to information is a great advantage. They have more room to research and learn more, and learn more, that they start to become wiser than their age. But one thing that I believe that the younger ones have is that zeal, is that fire, that will to do more, that will to surpass. I know one would know that they are young. One would know that they have this energy to say, "I want to do more. I want to surpass this level." And it's even sweeter when you reach a certain height at a very young age. It's very admirable, very respectable. Once someone reaches a very significant and very, very great height at a young age, it's very, very respectable and everything. So I believe that that energy, that strength, that will, that zeal is what the young ones bring. You know. On the other hand, they some people can get too over the top with that, and that's where the older ones come in to sort of temper it, and sort of like rather to refine that zeal and say, okay, this is how to channel it, this is how you do this is how you go about that and everything, because they have the experience, you have the zeal, you have the will to do more, so it's like I said, they reach out to you, you have to take the hand, and it's a two-way kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I'll quickly read some messages again. If you see this one, you can read and respond.
I
Can you
can't
see it?
see. No, I can't
Okay,
see. I can't see.
it's from Madam Tony Wiggins. She said she's
Okay.
joining in from Jos Plateau State. Thank you so
Okay.
much, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah. Yeah. So back again to the younger generation.
Hmm.
Do you also think why the older generation actors pride themselves is because they feel the younger ones have it fast? They say these days it's the fast lane and all of that. Because I also believe that the younger ones still have talent, even when the older ones might want to feel they land through the rope. But technology has made it in a way that the younger ones can leech on all the years that the older ones had spent. Don't you think also that maybe, just maybe, the older actors are not being too fair on the newer generation of actors?
Well, I wouldn't say them not being too fair. I don't believe it's all on them. I believe that there has to be a general room, general avenue to accommodate these young talents. Obviously, not everybody's going to enter Nollywood. Not everybody's going to be an actor, even if they want to. Sad, but it's true, you know. But when they have these talents, or the young ones, are they given that? Are they really given that chance to shine? That's the question. They have the talent; they are there. If you search the top most popular Nollywood actors, or popular Nollywood actors, a lot of them that pop out in the search might be, a lot of them are 30 over, you know, they're much older, but you see a handful of the younger ones there. I mean, I respect all of them. I respect the older actors. I see the work they put in, really admirable. But at the same time, there isn't much left for the younger ones there. So the talent is there. It's just that the avenue to accommodate and to kind of channel that energy, that talent, is not quite there yet. That's what I believe.
Okay, so back to you. How has the journey been? You might be considered a younger generation actor,
Yeah,
but
well,
then
yeah. Well,
starting
on
off
paper, yeah.
earlier, makes you like an OG of game,
Well,
A-
sort of.
and and that's the tricky part of it all because people who are
Actually,
older
though,
people who are
actually,
older might have just spent 10 years in the industry.
yeah. Because I went for a video one time, and this man, the actor Kepi, I don't know if you know Kepi, he's an actor. So Kepi said to me, I told him that I started acting at 7 years old, and he got to know my age, and he said, "Whoa, you're a veteran, and you're not even 30 yet." And I thought about it, like, whoa, I've actually been in this thing for a long time, thinking about it. So yeah, you're right. It's sort of conflicting because I started way back then, but at the same time, I'm still the younger generation. If you think about it, so it's I don't know. It's trippy, really.
Yeah. Let me quickly take some messages here again, and then we'll come back to you. Madam Tony again says, I celebrate you, Dozier. I like how you are answering the questions with respect and balanced view. Dozier is a
Thank you very
homegrown
much.
boy now.
Thank you so
but
much. It's so
but
easy.
Yeah, but that's true. That brings me to the question: how are you able to balance your work life and knowing that you are still an African child? In quote, I'm using child because
Hmm.
in the African context, younger ones are supposed to respect the older ones, and you find situations. We've had celebrities who have publicly said ex celebrity didn't greet them. That is why they are angry with them and all of that. So how are you able to also balance that? Because it might come off as pride to some people, and it might come
Okay.
off like you didn't respect them or something. How does that play out for younger entertainers?
Okay, for I would use myself, I guess. So there's when I was much younger, before every time I go to set. So when I was much younger, my mom used to be the one taking me to set every single day. Before I became a legal adult, yeah, if I became legal, my mom used to take me every single day to set. And before we go, when I dress up, because I used to have like early call times, maybe around maybe 7 a.m. call time, 8 a.m. Most times 7 a.m. call times as a kid. Almost every single time I'm shooting. So my mom would, when I'm done dressing, she would sit me down and say, okay, what she called it again? She said, okay, what would you do? Or what's our motto? I'd always say, greet, hug, and smile. That was what she would tell me. Greet, hug, and smile. So every single time we step out, greet, hug, and smile. So my parents helped with that. My mom especially helped with that. So every of my interactions with the older ones was sort of I was assisted because my mom was there. One thing about growing up or starting this thing as a child at that time was that on the show Tinsel, I was the only child there at that period when I started. I was the only child there, so everybody on set was practically older than me. So I had to always be conscious of every. There are times where I would unconsciously not do the needful as greet and respect because but they always tell me, oh, next time you greet, next time you do. So I was a kid and I was learning all of these things. So now it's like a cakewalk for me. You understand? So I wouldn't intentionally not respect because I mean I don't like being disrespected, so I would not disrespect somebody else. You understand? Uh, so I believe that the younger ones need to have somebody in their corner because they think they might know it all, but truthfully, they don't. When you're much younger, you think you know it all, but as I grew, I discovered back then, no, I did not know it all. So one always has to have somebody in their corner. You cannot do this thing alone. It's preferably somebody older than you that can assist, with all your interactions and all of that, So to avoid any of all these controversies and stuff like that, always have somebody in your corner, someone that supports what you do and supports you as a person, you know, that really helps. It supports you as a person and what you do, like my mom did. It just became uh, easier for me as I was growing, you know.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll quickly read this. So many messages are coming in. So I like to read all of them so they don't say because we have Dozier here, we couldn't read their messages. So this one is from Michael. He says, is it easier for younger people to get into the industry now, or was it easier before and not anymore?
Ooh. Okay. So this is kind of tricky, but I'll try my best to explain something that has been on my mind for a long time. So when I was a kid, 2007, 8, 9, 10, 12, thereabout, it was there were a very handful of child actors at the time. Very handful of child actors that I knew of anyway. And seeing that, I knew that okay, there weren't probably enough opportunities for the younger ones at the time. And a lot of them, even if there were, a lot of them were not given a lot of the young ones were not given that opportunity to shine and be put in the front seat and say, okay, this is this person, this young person on this show. But now there are more youth centric films out there that give opportunities for more people, more young people to join and shine. So I believe that now, I'm not saying it's easy, but I think you'd have a better chance now than you would have back then, honestly.
Okay. So if you're still watching us, we have Dozie here, and we're looking at newer generation of actors and older generation, and how can we harness both the old and new generation. And I think one thing the older generation should realize is these young ones have tech savvy. Oh. They can do and undo, especially with this age of AI and all of that. So does it, let's come to your mom. You've practically said a whole lot about her. You know,
Yeah.
how has she, I know it sounds like repetition, but how has it been a strong influence to you? Because of course parents are supposed to be supportive of their
Of
children,
course, of
right? But
course.
when they go beyond the board for you, it's worth celebrating. How has it been that to
Definitely.
you?
Uh, it's been very integral to my career, very integral to my growth, and I know that she's made a lot of sacrifices on her end to put me over, you know. And it's something I always respect, something I always admire, something I always never forget. I don't think I try my best to appreciate every single day, and it's not something that can be repaid if you think about it. So generally, from the beginning, she's been there since day one. She's practically my manager, but I call her my momager. You know, mom and manager mixed together. So that's what I call her a lot of times. And as a kid, I mentioned that you need, or as a young one or someone young in the industry, you need someone in your corner to always be there to support you as a person and what you do, which is what she was doing, which is what she was doing at the time. Because when I started, I was in what, primary school, and at that time I didn't have everything together. I didn't know what was happening. I was just a kid that was growing into this whole phase that I wasn't
Paparazzi.
sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure what exactly it was, but I knew that people knew me. If I walked on the road, people would know me, and if I walk into a supermarket or something, you'd always, even if they don't walk up to you, be hearing sights of like, it's that guy, it's that guy, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So there are times whereby it's not all been rosy, especially back in secondary school. Yeah, because I had to miss school a couple of days, then come back to catch up again. It was kind of messy for me, but I managed to catch up because I had support from my mom and my parents in totality. They hired some teachers to come teach me during the weekend. I did not enjoy it. No child loves to learn on weekends when they're meant to be watching cartoons, but it was for my good, you know. Like I said, you think you know it all when you're young, but you don't. It really helped me. So there was this time where it was getting to me to the point whereby the kids in the school were saying some kind of talk about me, and I wasn't sure how to react and all that. And it gets to me every single day. Sometimes I'll come back home, I'll be crying to my mom and say, "Oh, they said this to me, or said that to me." They'd use my career, what I do, and kind of use it against me in some sort of weird talk that I wasn't entirely sure what it would mean. But yeah, I got to a point where it was too much, and I went straight to, when I got back from school, I went straight to her. I said, "Look, Mom, I don't do this thing again. I'm done. Please call them, call the guys at African Magic, call this person, call that person. I am done." And I ran off crying. But she didn't make the call. If she did make the call, I wouldn't have reached this level that I am right now. If she didn't, if she had made the call, all of that would have been, all of what I am now in regards to my career would have been cut short. You know. So she understood that what I was going through was a phase, and she trusted that I would go through it, I would pass through it, and I would come out stronger. She trusted that I would, and did. And now, knowing that has happened to me, I'm speaking about it now to everyone that's listening, everyone that will listen. That it's okay to have it not all figured out, but please do not be alone. And people that support you for who you are, what you do, keep them close and take them seriously. And that's what I'm going to say.
Okay. So let me take some messages here. This one says, um, you started acting at 7. Did that just happen naturally, or did you have to study for it? So are you here now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, Odozie. Today's network, the ancestors didn't see us. Okay. So did you answer this question on the
No, I
screen?
haven't answered. I
Network
haven't
logged
answered
me
the
off.
question. I haven't answered it yet, but I will answer. I can see the question on the screen, so I'll answer it right now. So, did it distort my childhood?
Okay.
In a way, not too much. Even now, not. I don't think it has, and or it did entirely, but it must have. Yeah, because there were lots of things I did not enjoy as a kid. There are lots of things that people talk about when they were much younger that they did. And I'm like, what is that? What did you guys do? Because I was always busy on set. I was always busy filming, and even parties in school, maybe end of the year party, all those Christmas parties. I was hardly ever around. I never did all those social activities, and yeah, I had friends. I mingled a bit, but not as much as a lot of people claim they did, and lots of these things that people enjoyed. The things people say, I'm like, what is that? What did you guys do? Because I am mostly always on set. So I think it just took away a bit of the fun and distorting my childhood in such a way that I wasn't like every normal child. It was always every time I go out somewhere, there's always someone that knows me, and that privacy wasn't there much, you know. So I always had to be yeah cautious of where I am, and yeah, that's generally the whole thing, really. Yeah.
Okay. So let me still apologize to our viewers. Sorry for today. I really don't know what happened. Maybe they are welcoming me back to Kano with bad network, but it's fine. This and this is from Madam Evelyn Chioma Joseph, all the way from Enugu. She said, "Well done, an inspiring discussion from Dozie." And then she went
Thank
on
you.
to say something here, which I'll read, and then you reply to. She said, young generation need to be mindful of the character they put there because their lifestyle, behaviors, and values are often emulated by young fans. Cultural
Mm,
influence, they shape trends in fashion, speech, and attitude. Awareness, many use their platform to address social issues, inspiring youth to take action.
yeah.
And then lastly, she said they encourage young people to pursue careers in arts and entertainment. So they
Yeah.
should be more purposeful. Yeah. What
Of
do you have to
course.
say?
Yeah, there should be more purposeful because, like I mentioned, you have to have someone in your corner that is always by your side, guiding you and everything. And I believe that being noticeably popular or famous or whatever in that case, there's a sense of responsibility that comes with that, and one always has to be careful about what they do, what they say, how they do what they do, and how they say what they say. You know, and there are lots of people that are so far from reality because these people, these figures you look up to, they're just ordinary people, really, just ordinary people. So I believe that one should be who they are, true to themselves, honestly, because sometimes doing follow or but because this person is doing this, I will do. It doesn't always lead you to that point where you
Yeah.
be proud of yourself entirely, you know. So really, we just have to having this at a young age is actually a huge responsibility because you have to be really careful. You have to be really careful about your steps, and as you grow with it,
Mm.
you have to hold it like an egg. If it falls, it's gonna crack. It's gonna crack open, and it's all over the place. You have to be careful. You have to carry it like an egg, and as you grow, it starts to mature and hatch, and it hatches beautifully. You understand? That is how it should be for the younger ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dozier. So, Madam Tony Wiggins again from Jos, she said, "We the old school just need to keep embracing the new."
Yeah, we
True.
should. We actually should because, like I mentioned before, if you type in the popular actors in Hollywood, I mentioned that a lot of them are 30 or over. You hardly see. We have a handful that are doing pretty well, and that is because we had they had opportunity to shine. And how did they do that? Because we started to roll out youth centric content and films. So youth centric content, you put the youth, the young ones at the forefront and say take the lead. And once they do that, you're giving them that opportunity to shine. You're giving them that face, because I mentioned the top Nollywood actors are much older. If you're 30 right now, 35, 36, 37, the roles you play now, you will not be able to play them the next 10, 15 years. The roles you're playing now, you will not be able to play them because as I am right now, when I'm like 30, 40, I won't be able to play the role of a 17, 16, or 25, 24-year old anymore. There has to be people running behind me waiting to take that spot. You understand? Because you will not be in that same spot for a long time. You have to be training the younger ones. So there has to be youth centric films that puts them at the forefront. They have to be given an opportunity to shine. And the older ones can as well give out master classes to train the younger ones, teach them about the depth as an actor. You reach out to them, people that are willing to learn. The young ones have to be willing to learn and learn to hone their skills. The skills are there, the talent is there, but they need to refine and they need to craft it properly so it comes out really, really good, you know. And as well, writers and producers should also endeavor, like I said, they should make an intentional effort to create more youth centric shows and movies. You understand? And when you do that, to keep the talent, they have to be treated fairly. Just because I am so age, maybe 25, 24, you will treat me somehow different from someone that is. Yeah, of course, the older ones need their respect, of course, every single time. But doesn't mean you should treat me worse or treat me
Lesser. Yeah.
exactly in a nonchalant way because it's not supposed to be. You understand? So that's I think there should be fairness in all when it comes to even payments, when it comes to the contract. There should be no exploitative clause in the contract. Everything has to be fair and transparent because that's how you keep them. That's how you keep them. That's how they want to do more. If they say, okay, this is how we're treated fairly, we're this, we're that, people that are willing to do the work would want to work harder. You understand? So you're keeping the younger ones. And also when it's time to like roll out films and everything, I noticed that in some trailers for movies, the younger ones don't really feature much in them. It's just that the older ones they project. So once I now watch the movie, I see someone young, I'm like, oh, so you're in this film. That's how it is. You might just see the name of this young actor on the poster or something, but you wouldn't see him or her on the trailer or something. So when you now watch the movie, you see them. Oh, okay, so you're in this film. Wow, that's nice. Why weren't they projected in that trailer as well? You understand? There should be fairness in all of that. It should be that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well said. I'm going to ask you this way back. Knowing how popular you became from a very early age, and with children, they tend to also feel a bit of jealousy here and there, or even when they are
Oh,
your best
okay.
friends in school. How were you able to cope with the jealousy that comes with it, and then the
Uh,
backlash they will give you?
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. So I had this. I don't know if I would call him a bully or something back in school, but there was this guy that was always on my case, and he was always making jabs at me every single time. And then I'd always wonder where it's coming from, and everybody I talked to would always tell me it's jealousy. Because the way the jabs and the wordings are constructed is always meant to. It's supposed to hurt me, which it did back then because it wasn't. I wasn't enjoying any of that, and it became a problem because not just him, a couple of others as well. But this particular guy, his was constant. Funny how many years after we're friends. It's crazy. Oh yeah, we're friends. I met him in the when I was heading to university. Yeah, we were in the same hall, the same hostel. I met him. I was like, "Oh, it's you," and his room was right across from mine in the hostel. I'm like, "Okay, so from secondary school, we didn't like each other, and now we're university. The world works in so many ways, and that is one lesson the youth should actually take from that because once you're young, you're popular, you have such fame in the palm of your hands. You use it wisely. You do not disrespect people because you feel like you've arrived. You have this sort of status because work ethic really matters. It really matters, especially when you're young. It's like you're building a huge fortress or this huge mansion. Um, back back when I was much younger, my mom always emphasized on arriving early to the set, to the location, and even till now, I have so much that culture of that punctuality. I'm not saying I'm 100% punctual all the time. There are things that happen from time to time. Everything happens, but it's so much that whenever I'm late to set, they think something is wrong. They're like, he didn't come to set on time today. Sometimes I come before a lot of the crew, a lot of the cast and everything, and that's just how I am. Not because I want to show that I am better than nah. It's just something I grew up with. You understand? So whenever I'm late, like, Dozie didn't come by this time. What's going on? They always put a call through. I say, oh, sorry, I'm in traffic. Sometimes I'd say I have tummy trouble and everything because sometimes what I eat the night before or the day before it just messes with me and I cannot come to work on a running stomach. You understand? So yeah, so one always has to have that work ethic, and it speaks for you really. So from I think from another set, I was on another set, and then I showed up really early, and the producer came in. I think maybe about 30 minutes, 1 hour after. She said, "Oh, you're early. I'm not surprised. I heard about from Tinsel. I know they always tell me that the actors come on time, and they mentioned. I was like, okay. So I'm not in those conversations. So they talked about my punctuality. So imagine if you had so much great work ethic. Imagine what they say about you when you're not there. It just works magic for you. It speaks well for you. You understand? So one always has to have that work ethic. Show up on time. You show respect to your actors, not because you are told to. Be genuine about it because there's someone that says when you lie about something, you write down that lie on a piece of paper so that you will not forget because you might just slip up sometime. So it has to be genuine. It really has to be genuine. You have to, make a conscious effort to say that okay, this is how I want to be, this is how my work ethic is going to be, and this is how I will continue to pursue it as I go on. And it speaks well for you. It always does. It always does. And
Wow.
if it doesn't, if you have terrible work ethic, it's also going to speak for you in a negative way. Once they mention your name, oh, there's this movie that's coming out. Oh, this young person is really talented. Oh, but he does this on set. He disrespects this person on set, doesn't speak well to people. Let's not use him. Let's not use her. That's how it works. Unfortunately. Well, I mean,
True.
it's what you get, really. It's what you get.
True.
That's what happens, really. So one always has to be
Mm.
careful and always has to be intentional about these things.
Mm. And I think work ethics also is interwoven with manners, and character, and maybe
Yeah,
home
of
upbringing as
course,
well.
one has to have
Yeah,
character. I mentioned the
yeah.
the motto: greet, hug, and smile. Greet, hug. So every time I do, that's what my mom used to tell me every time before I get on set: greet, hug, and smile. That was it every single time. And before I head out to work, because now I go on my own, I don't go with my mom anymore because she's taking the back seat, and everything. So yeah, every time I go to work, it always runs in my head: greet, hug, and smile. You know.
Mm.
as it should be.
Okay. So I have this one here from Nwokocha Flora. He said, she said, so inspiring to watch you share your expertise. Keep up the fantastic work. Yeah.
Thank you for.
Mhm. And please, for those of you watching us, do let us know where you're watching from. We also have viewers who watch across the globe, and the time zone is also different. So hopefully, they will also watch later on when they either wake up or join us. But I'd like to ask this, Dozier. Um, what are your plans for 2025? I know people don't like making resolutions, but for me the question is, yeah, for me the question is, what are you looking towards, becoming better and all of that, aside maybe the work schedule you have and all that. But just hold on. I'll take two messages at once. Although you've answered one. Mike Michael said, did acting at a young age make schooling hard? I think you answered that already
Yeah,
before. But
I touched a little
another,
bit.
yeah, you touched a little. Then Mayowa Awoyemi says, excellent discussion. So maybe you might like to touch on Michael's own a little before you answer the one for 2025.
I'm sorry. Could you read Michael's own again? I didn't see pop up.
Okay, he said, did acting at a young age make schooling hard?
Okay. Okay. So it did actually. It did because there are lots of times where I would go to shoot, and sometimes tests and exams come up, and it also happens to be that those times I have to shoot. Me, I'm the kind of person that likes to get things done once it's time to get it done. Once I have the energy and I'm in that right state of mind. But when it comes to schooling, exams, there is no right state of mind. Whether you're not in the mood, you're in the mood, and it's exam time, you have to do it. You have to do it. And during that time in school, when I'd missed school, I remember a time I finished the test right after my mom came to school and picked me up, and I left right after. Sometimes before a test, before an exam, she'll come talk to the principal or something. My son needs to go, da 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 da. And they understand because before I got into the school, my mom had a discussion with them that look, my son does this as an actor, so he's going to miss school a couple of times, but he will catch up as much as he can. And they agreed to the whole thing because really nice people and everything. So it did because there are lots of things I missed, but luckily I caught up. I caught up, and it was difficult, yeah, because my mates had the 5 day a week schooling schedule. I come to school like maybe twice a week, three times a week, and make up for that extra lessons and all of that. So it
Like a
was
crash
extra work
program
for
for
me.
you?
Yeah, so it was extra work because I had actual work, and then I had school after school. You know, so it did make it hard, but I knew that it was a small price to
Uh,
pay. It wasn't a small price, but yeah, it was a sacrifice I had to make, and I'm glad I did it because a lot of people might not have had the courage or the determination to do so because as a kid, that's like one of the most important things. I don't want to miss school. I mean, kids don't really like school like that, but they don't want to miss it either, and their parents will make them miss it. But my parents were understanding enough to let it to let me work and to guide me while I'm doing that. Understand? Like I mentioned, having people in your corner, having someone in your corner would always help you. Supporting who you are and what you do would always help you. So yes, it did make my schooling harder. But in totality, I think towards the my university days, I had to take a pause. I think my university days, that was the only time I was fully a student. That was the only time I was fully a student because my first year in uni was 2018. I think 2018 I had to take like a day or two to shoot something and come back. 2018, 2019 I didn't do any work. 2020 I did not do any work. 2021 in between I did some work and everything. But most of my days in school, university, I was fully a student. I think that was the only time I was fully a student. Yeah. And after that, after leaving school in 2022, I
mm,
started work again, and it felt like I'd missed a lot. It felt like, oh, a lot of people have moved on and they're doing a lot of things. I'm
you
like,
had
okay,
to
I'm
do
still
catch up.
Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, I'm glad that I rounded up my secondary and university education. Really, I'm proud of it, and I'm glad I made those choices. Really, I was advised not to by some friends. So that's one thing about
Mm.
influence. You have to have this discernment. Not everything everybody says to you is right. It might have some truth to it, but you know where you stand. My mom used to tell me that, okay, when you buy a shoe or you're testing a shoe in the market or something, you put your shoe inside, your leg is tight, but you be telling the man, oh, this thing is very very tight, it's uncomfortable, and then someone outside will be telling you, no, but the shoe is fine now. It still fits you well well. It fits you
Take
well
it,
well.
it's
They
fine,
do
it
not know the
fits you.
pain.
And at the
Yeah,
latest one.
thank you. They don't know the pain of being in that. So only you would understand your situation. Only you understand what you're going through or what exactly is happening. So you can take that what they're saying and put it into perspective and say, okay, would this really fit my current situation right now? I said to myself, no, I can't throw away school. I can't. I when I was in secondary school, I had a bit of on and off, on and off. But I said this time I have to be a student. And it was weird because going to school or attending classes without missing was so weird. I was like, oh, you guys actually go to school, like attend classes like this? Nah, that's crazy. But I got used to it. I got used to it. I was like, what? This is what you guys do?
I'm sure in your mind you'll be calculating with your calculator how much you would have
Oh,
missed if you were on location.
I'm telling you. So yeah,
And then you
it's
have to
so
run
funny.
around to do
Yeah,
assignments and all of that. And in your mind, you'll be
yeah.
questioning yourself. Dozie, are you
Mm-hmm.
okay? You should be in the field making some money.
And then in school, I sometimes I'd even forget I'm an actor. I'll be rushing to class, projects and everything. I'll be so scattered in my mind and outside. And then someone will stop me. I'm like, "You're that guy. You're that actor." I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's true. I'm actually that guy. I'm so sorry." And then that's how it is. And yeah, it really made me socialize. And I had lots of I had friends. I made friends, and I met people like my age, and really talked and conversed and all of that. It was because when you have a lot of people your age in the same location,
Yeah, it's
it's
easier to
something.
adapt.
Yeah,
They're your
it's something.
peers, so you flow along.
Exactly. So there's no
Mm,
well, mommy, I want to go out. Daddy, I want to go out and see this person. You're all there. It's like you are on your own now. This is life, sort of. Anyway, but yeah, this is
mm,
life. Live it
yeah,
and all of that.
yeah.
So
But
yeah.
I think something you've not given credit for to yourself personally is also the intelligence that comes with this, because we
Oh
sometimes think these things are easy. I know you may just want to be humble, but it takes one who's very intelligent and bright to juggle both career and education. And even in school, for people who are not working, there are people who are
yeah.
not working and still they come up with a lot of carryovers. They are not serious with their lectures. It's not like they do anything. They go to the hostel, sleep or party and all of that. Something you
Mm-hmm.
must also give credit to yourself is the resilience and knowing that at every point in time, whatever you want to do, you want to excel at it. Because when it comes to school, you want to put in that same effort you put in acting to your schoolwork and to
Yeah.
make yourself proud and not just your parents.
Of course.
Do
Of
you
course.
think
Yeah.
that is lacking? Do you think that is lacking within the campus?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't know because I can only speak for myself. I don't know if people have been. I don't know if anybody that's been put to the test and kind of overcome or has seen what I've seen or I've gone through what I've gone through. So I wouldn't know personally, but I believe that I believe that people should build that resilience because it's a tough industry out there. Honestly, it's not going to be rosy. There are times you don't just get in and have you start having your fun instantly. You have to grind. I mean, it's not been all rosy for me. There are times where I felt, oh, maybe I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm just whatever. It happens. The doubt comes, but what makes it sweeter is when you overcome all of that and you keep going. There will be moments where you're down. Definitely, you're a human being. Life happens. Life happens, especially to the best of it happens. But that courage to pick yourself back up is what really matters and what really defines this person. And like I mentioned, I don't know if anybody has been put to the test, but I believe that people that might be facing that right now, I don't know who is. becoming the next big thing. Maybe he's like what 15, 16, or she's like 15, 16 right now in school and trying to juggle whatever. I don't know. I mean, I believe something like that is happening right now as we speak. But I believe that that person, whoever they are, or these people, whoever they are, they should keep their chin up. It's going to be tough, definitely, but try your best. Try your best, do your best, and have people in your corner. I've said it repeatedly. I sound like a broken record, but it is the truth. Have people in your corner that believe in you and believe in what you do and who you are. And it's going to come full circle.
Okay. Another message, question here from Mayowa Awoyemi says, "How did you land your first major role in Nollywood?"
I, I already talked about that really. My first
Yeah,
major
before
role.
you answer that, yeah, I read up somewhere that you had one movie, which I'm trying to Google out the name because I read it up either yesterday or so. They said you had one whether in 2012 or something before Tinsel. There was one you
Oh
did before Tinsel. Is that right?
no, no. Tinsel
Okay.
was my
Okay.
first. Tinsel was my very
Oh, okay.
first. So there was Tinsel. There was Journey to Self. I think Journey to Self gave me my first ever nomination for best child actor at the time, best of Nollywood, best child actor at the time, and pretty cool stuff really. Then there was My Wife and I in 2017. I did some movies and series in between that, but a lot of them never saw the light of day. You know, some producers that I've worked with, but I just don't have proof that I have worked with them. You know, because sometimes the series or the movie is done, but next thing they just close and shut everything down. So okay, we're not going forward with it anymore. So it happens, happens like that sometimes. But my first major Nollywood role was my first role, which was Tinsel, and it was really it's surreal because it kind of shows my not kind of it shows my growth from the beginning of my career as so you have me on TV as a child, you have me on TV as a teenager, you have me on TV as a young adult. So there's this progression, and I'm gonna tie this in with something else I mentioned before about that mentorship. Like I said, it doesn't have to be formal. It can be something between the older ones and the younger ones that have interest in a certain talent and say, hey, I want to take you under my wing and help you hone your skills, which is, I believe, something beautiful. So I was much younger. I was surrounded by adults on the show. I had Ireti Doyle, Auntie Sheila. I had Fully Holder. I had Gideon Okeke. I had Matilda Obaseki, and all the rest. Then the late Victor Alauton, the man that played my grandfather, Freddy Ade-Williams, rest his soul. And they were all there, and my character was so dependent and so tied in with their stories because I'm a child. They are raising me. They are teaching me the ways of the ancestors. Teaching me the ways. and and as I kept on growing, my character started becoming his own person, you know. So now that I'm a young adult, I have lesser scenes with them because I'm now my own person. I am my character is running part of the company right now. I'm trying to build my grandfather's legacy on the show and everything, trying to make it greater because my character feels like it's not enough. It needs to be more. So I'm now from you watch me as a kid. Now I'm running a company. Like it is so weird to imagine, but that's what it is. That's the truth, you know. So that progression, if you notice, I mentioned that I was around adults. I mentioned the names, Ireti Doyle, Gideon Okeke, Fumi Hoda, Matilda Obaseki. They were all there as the older ones, you know, giving me that knowledge and impacting that knowledge and everything. So as I grew, I drew from them, and now that I am where I am, I have drawn from them, and I'm still learning more because we keep learning every single day. But point is, my character is less dependent on them right now because Freddy Ade-Williams is now his own person. He's running the company now. He's doing bigger ventures and all of that. So that's what it should be. There's some. It's called putting them over. I don't know if you watch WWE, if you watch wrestling, but I'm pretty sure you know this wrestler John Cena. So he's a legend in the wrestling in WWE. So there are times where it's scripted, obviously scripted. There are times where he loses to a younger talent, a younger wrestling talent, so that it can be like, oh, this young guy beat John Cena. This young guy did this and did that. So John Cena losing gives the younger one popularity. You are putting them over. So the older ones have to put the younger ones over because there will come a time whereby we're going to need them. We're going to need the younger ones because, like I mentioned, you have a role right now. You're 30 years old. By the time you're 45, you cannot play a role that you played 10 years ago. There will be somebody there to take your place, and we have to train those people that will take our place. You understand? So that's how it is, really.
Yeah, and let's stay a little on this because um older ones have been refined, went through their mistakes, learned on the job,
Definitely.
and all of that. And if they don't pass that um, handout, so to say,
Yeah.
um, there won't be like an in-depth or a potpourri of more people, and then
Hmm.
there will be a gap and all of that. So it's really a nice one. But let me also ask this: when the flyer came out, oh, okay, I'm back. When the flyer came out, someone saw the flyer and screamed and said, "This is one of his best actor." But I should ask you that why did you leave your lawyer girlfriend and be following a hacker? That men has come.
No, that was a fun storyline. A fun storyline. I mean, it was. I mean, things change. Things change. People change. Feelings change sometimes. But I mean, it's when I read it, I was like, oh wow, it's actually coming to an end. The Freddie and Ashley, the lawyer, really really nice lady, really talented and admirable. But I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, it is what it is because I don't know if I should go in depth to the story, but I don't know why. I don't know why it's not by my doing. The writers, hey, call up the guys at African Magic. I don't know. I don't know, but it happened. It happened.
It's well. Okay, then one last one someone else asked for. They said, "Where's
Yes.
your fisherman mother?"
What?
you know your there's a part where your mom in the film in the series used to get traumatized,
Oh,
and then she would say
okay,
she started
okay.
seeing the fisherman
The
again,
fisherman,
a bit
yeah.
fisherman. So one of the first said, "Where
Oh
is
my
your
goodness,
fisherman
what has
mother?"
been there?
That they've not seen her for some time.
True. I don't know exactly what happened because the last time I saw her, I was about to get into school. So at the time I was about to get into school, I told him that, oh, I'm going to school for a while, and they had to write me off the show for a long time. So when I was being written off, she was still in the story. So I got written off for a bit, and when I came back, I heard that okay, she was still in the story for a bit, and the next thing she took off. I don't know if it was a personal decision from the actor. I'm not in those conversations. I've not really asked about it, you know. So I don't know if it's from the production, a creative decision, or a personal decision from the actor herself. So yeah, I'm still not clear about what happened, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But all in all, I really must commend you. You've done a whole lot. You're making the younger generation proud, and it's not easy in
Thank you so
the
much.
Africa and Nigeria we live in. With having to face work challenge, and then the
Yeah.
economy itself, it's another on another level. But tell us lastly as we wrap up. I know I'm going to bring you again when we have stronger network. But tell us what are some of the challenges so people don't also think that superstars or entertainers don't also go through challenge. You said something earlier on that people forget that you are all also humans. So what are some of the challenges you face, and how have you been able to surmount some of them as we wrap up?
Okay. All right. So So you have the challenges you have as a normal person. Maybe you have stuff going on with family. You have personal problems, maybe anxiety or depression or something. Um, but you add that to being an actor, being in the public space, and being young. That's a whole lot. It's a whole crazy recipe, crazy mixture. But I think you always have to start with one. You always have to start with one problem and deal with it. You progress. You you sort of deep dive into what these things are and start to tackle them, because honestly, it's not entirely easy, because I've had my own fair share of problems. When it comes to, I mean, there's criticisms. Oh, he's an actor. He's not all that. He's okay. Just because on TV, so there's this kind of altered perception about one. There are people that saw me and be like, oh, he's this guy. He's so proud. He's so arrogant. He's so this. He's so that. And all the people that know me, they're like, ah, this guy is nice. So this guy. So if I were somebody else outside that conversation, how would I see me? Would I agree to this with this person that, oh, Dozie is proud, is arrogant, or would I agree with this person that says he's nice? I'm going to be conflicted, you know. So there's that altered perception about you from other people to other people. Then the challenges when you're much younger is, I talked about that fairness when it comes to when you're pushing out the content, pushing out the films. You notice that I told you that you notice that the trailers, you don't see the young ones much until you watch the film. So I believe that that is one of those challenges. So it has to be talked about. It has to be talked about. You don't just sit back and watch it happen. You understand? It has to be talked about, so that they say that those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. So it happens once. You try as much as possible to let it not happen uh, again. You bring it up respectfully and say, "Oh, I believe that I was not treated fairly in this regard," and all of that. You say respectfully and see what the. I believe that it can be resolved respectfully. That's what I always believe. You know, it never has to become something drastic. You know, but yeah, the also perception, I faced that before. The criticisms, I faced that before. And one thing I will keep saying again,
Mm.
the people that are in your corner know who you truly are. And those are the ones that will stand by you. And those are the voices that truly matter in these times, these criticisms, whatever they say, whatever they do, as regards to what they say, the ones that matter are the voices that should matter. Understand? It's gonna hurt, of course. Those challenges are gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Even another one of those challenges would be getting. One question popped up about getting roles right now. I mentioned that it's much easier now, but at the same time, it doesn't mean it's the door is wide open and they say, hey, come in here, come and take this role. It's hardly ever like that, you know. So it's more of the young ones that are now in the forefront are now being the ones that are, should I say, being pushed, which is really good, really really good. But that shouldn't be the only focus. There are more behind them as well that should also get an equal push. That should also get an equal time to shine. I said it before. Writers, producers, I believe that they should give relevant roles to younger ones. I'm not saying that must happen every single time. I'm just saying that it should be part of the journey. It should just be part of the journey. You understand? So I believe that the young ones should be given a fair chance to shine, and that handout that you mentioned, that handout needs to be handed out to the younger ones so that we can, not make those mistakes.
Hello, Dozie.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello.
So maybe we'll wrap up now, and then promise us you're gonna come back again. Yeah,
Uh,
can you hear me?
yeah, of course I can hear you, and definitely, yeah, of course I'll be back again. This come calling.
Okay. Okay. So one final thing we do here, we ask our guests to use a minute or two to greet their support mechanisms. It could be their parents, their friends, their colleagues who have always been there for them, and maybe some last question that sorry my network went off, but I think I'm back again. So the final question is,
Yeah.
we usually give our guests a minute or two. We give our guests a minute of two to greet their friends, loved ones, or people who have been a support mechanism for them as they pursue their journey and all of that. So who would you like to greet as we wrap up?
Uh, well, I like to greet and thank everyone that's been part of my journey, and everyone that will be part of my journey, and everyone that is supporting the young actors out there trying to make a name for themselves despite all the challenges. I'd like to thank my friends. I'd like to thank my mother for the sacrifice and the effort she put into shaping my career and me as a person. And I'd say to everyone out there that whatever you have, I'll direct this to the young actors. Whatever you have at this stage, whatever it is, either it's big or small, do not take it for granted. Do not take any opportunity for granted. Every opening you have, every favor you get, do not take it for granted, and always be respectful to your colleagues. Genuinely, not in an eye service manner. You know, be genuine about it, and especially you show love to everybody that you can, and be kind generally, and it'll all start to work together. You know, it'll all align. So yeah, I'd like to thank everybody that's been part of my journey, my friends, my family, everyone out there, and people that are supporting the coming generation or my generation, whichever. But yeah.
Okay. So I'm back and we're wrapping up. My
Yeah.
apologies once again.
No problem.
Yeah. So were you able to do your greeting?
Yeah,
You
I
know, I
was.
went
I
off
was. Yeah, I did the greeting. I did the greeting.
when I asked you to greet your the people who have been of help to you.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay, okay.
Uh,
Okay. So I think we'll just be wrapping up here. So Dozie, I want to really thank you for finding time to join. I know we've been trying to do this, but the back and
yeah,
forth has not allowed us because you are also very busy. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I
yeah.
really
Thank you for
really
having me.
appreciate.
Yeah.
I need to close up by saying I want to thank everyone. Thank you, Dozier, for being here. And to everyone who sent in messages, let me see if I can remember some. Okay, someone just sent in now. Olariwaju Abdulaziz, it says, well done. A second time, it says, nice one. To Mayowa, to Michael, to Flora, to King Courage, so many people, to Evelyn. You really have a lot of fans. So, so I want to thank everyone. let's leave this place before our ancestors will start what they don't know. They don't know. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
Dozie. So till we thank everyone. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari. God bless you all and have a beautiful Sunday.